Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. For the foreseeable future, I've decided to do my intros while taking the dog for a walk in the morning. Try to kill two birds with one stone. It is 20 degrees. I think it got down to about 12 last night. Usually we've kept the horses in the dry lot once it snows, but they're going down and kicking off the snow off the longer grass that they left earlier and are getting grass there. So I don't know. The contractor who did a lot of our road work used to work at a big horse ranch, and he said that they had the horses out on pasture all winter, and this is what they did. They just brush away the snow and eat the grass underneath. Yeah, the more grass they can get there, the better. We're on our way back now, and I looked the entire way for prints, and there's nothing. No tracks anywhere, which is kind of unusual. Usually we have deer crossing, well, not right here, but there's a deer crossing up there and one right behind me here. And this, it's like a deer superhighway coming through here. But nothing so far. Very unusual. We have an overpopulation of deer this year. The Department of Natural Resources is allowing 5 deer per tag, so that's a whole lot of deer that you can take per person, and yet no tracks whatsoever. Very interesting. We'll see how the rest of the winter goes, but so far it's a little unusual. Okay, I have an unboxing to do and a bunch of foam work. This video is going to be about getting some clamps cut and some foam cut and getting the last of the foam in the addition project, the last of the first layer of foam. Then I'm going to cut some of the second layer of foam and some test clamps, and then I'm going to glue up a couple pieces of XPS with Great Stuff glue. More than a little crazy. I'm not playing sticks. We're almost back. So it's going to be all about the foam today. I don't know how much I'll show cutting the stuff. These GoPros have a little bit of a problem in cold weather, and like I said, it's 20 degrees right now. And I want to get that stuff done as quick as possible and get back into the addition there. So I'll probably get back with you in the addition with some cut parts and show you what I'm doing there. Okay, I have them all cut. I got to go through these and sort them. Half of them are 16 and a half and half of them are 15 and a half. These are the 15 and a half and these are the 16 and a half. It took me forever to get these things cut. Some of these were recut, but some I had to make from scratch, but that was no big deal. Like I said earlier, it's 20 degrees out there, and it's breezy, and the breeze is coming east to west, and it was blowing right in my face when I was working on the table saw. I had to come in here a couple times to warm up my hands. I was getting frostbite. With the wind chill, it was probably right around 0 Fahrenheit. So kind of nasty working outside in this weather. So I'm gonna have lunch now, and then I'll come back and get the first layer on these. And I also, while I was out there, I cut, where is that? Right here. This is the second layer. And what I want to do, do I have that out here? No, I don't. I have the Great Stuff foam glue. It's like the other Great Stuff in the can. I don't have any of it out here. I'll have some out here when I get back. But it's a glue that does not eat away at the foam. It's hard to find glues that work foam to foam. PL300 works foam to wood or concrete, anything porous, but it will not work foam to foam. We used that glue on the house when we built the house. We used the Great Stuff foam glue, but when I was taking some of this stuff off, it wasn't holding very well. So I want to do a test piece. I'll use some of these cutoffs, I guess. Glue 2 of those together and let it dry, whatever they say it should dry, and see how it works, see if I can pull them apart. In reality, it just has to hold these 2 together, no real stress or anything. It has to hold them together, while it's up in the cavity. It's not going to be like pulled on or anything, but it will have gravity working on it. So it's possible I'll just put some real thin straps. When I'm done with this foam, it'll be about flush with the bottom of the top cord there. So I might just staple some cleats going across, thin cleats, maybe 16th inch cleats, and put like 3 of them across on either side and just leave them in there. That would take the stress off of the foam and make sure it doesn't ever drop down. If it dropped down, that'd be kind of bad. But in reality, when I do the spray foam on the edges, that should hold it in place as well. I don't know, I'll think on it. But when I get back from lunch, I'll take these clamps and get those end ones in. All right, I'm ready to start putting these up. First, I gotta drill a countersink, and the reason for that is I'm using drywall screws, and with the bugle head like that, they'll split the ends, and in some cases, they'll split it so bad that it's not usable, and I don't have any spares. And the only reason I'm using drywall screws is they're cheap and that they have a very pointy tip, and because I'm like drilling into the corner of a stud a lot of the times, this will catch the corner where sometimes a regular, see if I can find one without glue on it, a regular construction screw might push to the side and not penetrate. So I'm going to finish drilling these. All these new ones have no holes at all. So I'll get these finished and start putting that stuff up. That was quite a bit more difficult than it should have been. The reason for that is I believe this truss is tipped just a hair that way. But anyways, the foam was, it's almost touching at the far end there. And this is about how it should look. There should be a 1/2 inch, so it should have a 1/2 inch of play, so it should have a 1/4 inch gap on both sides. But we're going against the house here. So this truss that's screwed up against the house, it's gonna wave in and out with the foam that's on the house. So never even thought of that, but no big deal. So I had to do an emergency cut it in half to get it in there. And also it has this top plate that's in the way, where these, it could go just straight up into the opening. This has to go to the side and then up, and it had to go over these wires, and it has to go over that. So being tight, then the top plate and this all together made it so I just couldn't get it up there, so I cut it in half. Now I'll just fill that cut with foam later, but because it's so tight there, I'm going to use anti-vapor tape, foam seaming tape, this stuff right here, joint sealer, foam joint tape. This is incredibly nice stuff, but it's really, really, really expensive. I'm going to be using that on all the seams on the foam outside as well. And I'm going to be using it once this is foamed, these centers, I'm going to shave that flush, and I'm going to tape the center seams as well. I don't want any vapor having an easy path to the underside of the roof there. The foam itself, the XPS, has a perm rating about the same as house wrap, so that's fine. It can slowly get through it, so any moisture that's like trapped in the roof can slowly get through it this way, and vice versa, it can go the other way as well. So the whole idea behind this is to allow any vapor that gets up into the ceiling over winter return back into the house during summer. That's how the house is built as well. There is no vapor barrier on the inside, and this foam layer is the vapor barrier on the outside. Any vapor that gets in there can slowly work its way out either direction. Okay, let's get this other one in. I think this one will go in whole. That pipe's the biggest worry. So I'm going to cut this screw and dry fit this one, and if it works, I'm going to glue it and screw it up there. These two were much harder than I thought they were going to be. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, these sucked. Okay, so I got them in, and the gap is about what it should be on this side. So it's just that very end over there where it pinches a little bit. It's already well, the heater's right here, but without that little bit of heat escaping up there, it already seems a bit warmer here. So now we come to this side. This side has, well, it doesn't have a pipe in the way or wires in the way, but it does have 18 of them 3-inch screws. I got to cut all of them off, and I'm cutting them off so that they're, well, I can't get much further than that, and I don't want to. So maybe a 1/2 inch is sticking in, 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. So when I put the foam up, I have to make sure I go along the whole thing and press that screw up into the foam. And it helps to have the foam positioned correctly before you do that. So this side is going to be a little bit difficult. Oh, and then I got all this stuff in the way, and I'm not going to move all this to put this up. So I'm hoping I can like lean over this or something. If I can't, I'll have to move this all out, and then this will become a far bigger project than I thought it would be. I need to get this stuff up today because we have 40-degree weather tomorrow, and I want that roof to thaw out and help this glue dry with the 40-degree weather. That should get the roof, I don't know, maybe 70 degrees or so. The black roof gets really warm, and now with the insulation right below it, it's not going to lose heat as fast. So the roof's going to warm up really nice and well. So I'm hoping it thaws out and drains off that little ice dam that I created from not having this part insulated before the first snow like that. So, not really looking forward to this, but I'm going to grab the grinder and start cutting these things off. Okay, all done. None of these were easy, but finally it's done. Now I just gotta wait a few more days for this last stuff to dry before I can take the cleats off. I think I'll give it a good 3 days. Tomorrow is gonna be in the 40s, so I have to go early over to the shed and start cutting furring strips. And I hope to get at least this side of furring strips on tomorrow. It's going to be 40, but it's going to be windy, so I don't know. It might be a little cold to do it tomorrow. We'll see. But I might not get a better day this year, so who knows? So the center, the next layer of foam is 1.5 inches, and I'm going to do full sheets in the center with smaller sheets off to the side, so I stagger the joints. I don't want any path for water vapor, and that seems to be the best way to do it. Once I have this layer in, then I'll go along and foam the cracks. I don't know, maybe I can do, I don't want to foam the cracks and have it bulge out and then have to go up there and cut all of it. Yeah, and I really don't want to do it twice either. But there's some of them that are pretty tight, and if I have 2 layers, I'm worried that I'm not going to get foam all the way up into there. Kind of a conundrum. All right, I guess it remains to be seen how I do that. So if you want to see how I do that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. And if you have any questions or comments, I'll gladly answer you if you put them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.